And welcome back to the Profile Pod. I'm your host, Double A, back for another spectacular episode of the pod. We have a really, really good one in store, as we always do. And remember, it's National Women's History Month. And to honor Women's History Month, we have a very special guest, very young ladies doing big, big things, and she's wearing so many hats. I'm really uh, glad that she's here because there's so much that I want to talk to her about for myself. And I'm really just intrigued as to how she does all of this stuff. But I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. I'm again your host, Double A, and we're here, man. This is the show that brings on individuals doing extraordinary things in life to inspire the human spirit. And like I said, Lupe is definitely doing that and much more. So if you can't get inspired for this interview, if you watch this interview and you're not inspired to go out and do something that you've always wanted to do, I don't care what it is, in any facet of life, any walk of life, then I don't know what will. So get ready, fasten your seatbelts, because we're going to be chopping it up about so many things in the playwriting arena, acting, producing, interviewing, founding businesses, founding organizations. I'm telling you, Lupe is just multifaceted, multi-talented, and we're going to get to the bottom of everything. So um, remember, there's a chat there, a comment section. If you'd like to pose a question for our guest, please do so, and then I'll do the best I can to get the comment on the screen and give you a shout out. So yeah, keep that in mind. So thank you once again for tuning in, if you're on the live or watching the replay afterwards. So thank you, everybody. I want to thank everybody for the love on Instagram, on social media throughout, and I much appreciate it. So we continue to build this platform and bring on guests like Lupe. It's a beautiful thing, building that community, supporting one another, and I'm all about supporting others, man. That's the essence of this platform. So, if you want to get on for an interview, hit me up on the DMs and Instagram, and we can talk and go forward. So, but for tonight, like I said, it's National Women's History Month, and our guest, Lupe Montiel, again, she is an interdisciplinary artist, and she's wearing many hats. She's a founder of Futuroscope USA, founder of Monarca Pictures, First Artist Lab. She's a playwright. She's an actress. She conducts interviews, founding board member of Girls in Focus, and a member of the Los Angeles Poets Society. Just the list goes on and on. She just had her play run at the Frida Kahlo Theater, play called Échale Ganas Mija, in which she wrote and produced, directed by David Acosta. And an array of things that she's doing. So let's get down to the bottom. Enough of me talking. Let's bring on Lupe for the first time on the Profile Pod. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Lupe Montiel. Lupe, how are you?
Hi. Hi. Thank you for having me.
Oh, of course. No, Lupe. Thank you for being the inspirational figure that you are. And especially for me personally, because I'm an actor, and you're doing so many things that I'm like, oh man, I want to do that. I want to do that. I want to do that. How
Well,
are you tonight?
you
Welcome.
gotta do it.
Say again?
You have to do it. When you want to do this, you have to do it. So yeah.
Absolutely. No, thank you so much for being here. How are you? What's been going on? I know you've been busy. What's going on with you?
Yeah,
You stay
always
there?
always busy. We just completed the Frida Kahlo play festival, and that was an amazing experience. I am just amazed. I still have to, I get chills. I still have to pinch myself. I can't believe it happened. And it was an amazing experience. I was, originally that was not my goal. I was not trying to be involved in the theater. Uh, and it just because I started to write with a group of women, that kind of became a possibility. And at the same time, when I around the time when I wrote Échale Ganas Mija, that first play, uh, I started to do work in film, like in front of the camera also. And that happened because of the writing also. I participated in the film The Sun Rises, which is by Carnival Pictures. It's a film that talks about police brutality. So Yeah, it's Alexander Sam. He was the director.
Yeah.
And then after that, I was cast by Gio Perez for a series called The Sun Rises. And in that one, he actually wrote lines for me. And that gave me my first, like experience in front of a camera and acting and doing that type of thing. It was it was really empowering, and it was very it was one of those things that I had never really, I mean, that was not my goal. Like, that was not what I was trying to do. But, you meet a lot of different people at film festivals. That's actually where we met. And a lot of people have different, projects that they're working on, and you get to do a
Mhm.
lot of networking. And Gio told me about this plan, and that he had a movie that, he'd been working on for a while. And we all exchanged information, and then eventually I heard from him, and he said, there's this role. It's about a mom. She's got two teenagers. Her name's Sophia. You should read the lines and check it out. And I did. And then we just did a little bit of we ran the lines and had some Zoom rehearsals, because it was still a lot more Zooming going on at the time. It was not as much in person. And so The Sunrises was the real, like, the thing that really inspired me, the one movie that really, or the film or series that really inspired me to um, pursue acting. I guess I was more comfortable with it once I'd done it. Uh,
Mm.
I mean, he's a fantastic director. He is extremely patient. We did like a lot of takes, and in fact, I joked about it with him. I said, "Oh, I think, after this, I'm gonna get myself a tattoo on my arm that says, 'Learn your lines,'" because he was so, I mean, so generous with his patience, and it was an amazing experience. But I think that less takes would have been better. And now I know that, if you're gonna do that, you really do have to learn your lines. So that was interesting. After that movie, I worked a theater festival at Casa O 101 with Chicanas, Cholas, and Chisme. That's the group
Mm.
that I wrote the play Échale Ganas, Mija with, and they gave me a table read there, and that's where I brought in Eric Gavica, who plays Esteban, the dad in the play, and
Mm.
and also the girls. The actress who plays Maggie, her name is Stephanie Rojo, and
Yeah.
then also the one the cousin.
Oh, I think we lost you there.
No, I'm
There
back.
you are.
Yeah.
You
So the
good?
cousin is Hilda. Can you hear me?
Yeah, gotcha.
Okay.
Gotcha. I think.
So
Yeah.
Hilda's the cousin, and her mom. I couldn't really find an actor for her mom. So again, my intention was not to cast myself in my own play. It just so happened that I couldn't find anyone. And I thought to myself, you know what? I wrote it. I know the material. Hollywood isn't really writing things for me, nilly willy. They're not readily available, and they're not numerous. So I thought to myself, you know what? I know the material. I'll just play the role. And I went
Oh,
for it. So I mean, that gave me
uh-huh.
more confidence to continue with that. And I submitted the play into another film festival, which is the one that the Frida Kahlo Theater has at the start of the year. And I found out probably around September, or end of September, early October, that it had been accepted for production. And that was amazing. That was like such a proud moment. And I'm very grateful to Ruben Amevisqua, who is the director of the Frida Kahlo Theater. He
Wow.
really told us he really loved all the plays. So I'm very grateful for that experience. He gave me my first my first play that got produced in the theater. And it was like a triple win, because I was, the writer, producer, and actor in it. And that's a huge accomplishment. Like, it is pretty big. Yeah.
Yeah. No, no doubt, Lupe. I mean,
Yeah.
I remember seeing. I know Sylvester Stallone, for example. When he did
Uh,
Rocky, he wrote, directed,
mhm.
starred. And gosh, and being, I know that's not easy. I'd like to
Well,
hear
I'd
from
only
you.
ever heard of it, like what you're saying. I'd only ever heard of other people doing it. Never in my wildest dreams did I ever think that that was going to be me. But when this is the way things panned out. I wasn't gonna go against that. I went right towards, they say run away from the fire. I ran right towards the fire.
You threw
So
gasoline and then ran into it.
yeah, so I just went for it, and you know what? It all panned out. A lot of these actors that are in these plays were so inspirational to me, and I watched them do their thing, and it gave me the courage to also, go for it. Just go for it. It's
Mm,
trial by fire. Like if you've never done it before, when you get the opportunity, you just go for it.
no doubt, no doubt. I wanted to ask you though, like,
Mhm.
yeah,
Mhm.
what was that experience like wearing all those hats? What was the most challenging for you uh,
Yeah.
out of all the three or the several hats that you had to wear for this
Mhm.
production? Talk about some of those challenges and what you did to kind of keep things in order and
Mhm.
compartmentalized, and so talk about that experience.
Well, we had some changes. I mean, the creative part, the written part, and all of that, all of that stuff is already set. Like all of those things are done. But I think the mind blowing thing is the scheduling. Scheduling for rehearsals is absolutely mind blowing for me because I'm very respectful of the time of the actors, and a lot of these actors are volunteers, and a lot of them have other productions and other things that they Sorry, I keep getting a phone call, so I need to turn that off. But
No worries.
a lot of the actors are they're volunteers, so I'm very respectful of their time. So I try to be very diplomatic and very
Mhm.
flexible, and I'm very appreciative of their participation in my work and bringing it to life. So for me, that is to me the utmost like care, like caring for the actors is very important. I know maybe for other people it's not a priority, but for me, I'm very, very, very cautious and very, very grateful for their participation. And so we went through some changes of staff. Actually, uh, uh, another person stepped in. Her name is Alondra Costa, and she is actually the director of my play. That she blocked it. She and I together blocked the play, and so we continued with her talent as the director. Alondra, Alondra was the one that helped me to direct it, and so we did that together. We reblocked the play, and that was important too. That was challenging a little bit for a few days,
Mm,
and then we got it all sorted out. Even the scheduling, eventually that sorts itself out too. Everyone's very enthusiastic about doing the work and portraying the roles on stage, and so um, it's such a family environment, and it's such a beautiful thing when you work this way with it becomes a real family in the theater,
mm,
and everyone is very attentive and very like people, like when they see each other, it's like they've never seen each other before, but you've been there for weeks and weeks, and everyone's always hugging each other, and everyone's always showing support and love and saying break a leg, do awesome tonight, because every night is a different night. This is not like film. In film, you do a few takes, things get sorted out in post, it's all okay, like but in theater it's one shot. And
yeah.
this is why it was important for me to really learn from all of these wonderful actors, because they do it night after night after night. Their commitment is incredible,
Mm,
and they are some of the sharpest actors in the business.
mm,
And I've told everyone, I've said, you know what? For the next films and things that I will be doing, I'm stealing all my theater actors, because they can do what we need them to do quick, quick, quick in film. One or two takes, done. Time is
mm,
money, and money is time in film. And so theater actors are the best actors. They're not the best. I mean, they're all great, film and theater, but for because of the way that theater works, theater actors are really like, I mean, their lines are fast and they get it, and they're really, really they're just very prepared. They're very disciplined actors,
mm,
you
mm.
know. Yeah. It's a
Yeah,
it's it's
yeah.
a it's an amazing experience, and if anyone ever wants to go into acting, yeah, I highly recommend starting with theater, because it gets you into that groove. And once you get in and you do film, you got it. You're good. You know exactly what you're doing. But theater is a key component to becoming a more polished and more well prepared actor for for portraying roles and for working in front of the camera eventually.
Absolutely, absolutely. How critical are rehearsals, right?
Oh
On
yeah,
stage, because like you said, you only get that one shot. For you got the night of the show, or showtime,
yeah.
and you got to be ready. It's showtime, and that's it.
It's showtime, and
And it,
every show is different. Let me tell you, anything that go wrong can go wrong, might go wrong, and so I think you have to also have some abilities of like improvisation. Improv is a good skill to
mhm,
have because sometimes you just got to smooth it out. Maybe someone's not in the best, mood, or someone forgets a line. You have to figure it out. You kind of look at each other a little blankly, and something is going to come out of your mouth because you got to the show must go on.
yeah,
It's amazing that how you have to do this.
yeah, no doubt. I mean, did you ever have those intense moments of just stress, and you were just like, ugh, um, eh, you know, and what did you do to kind of
Settle the nerves.
smooth yourself out? Yeah, yeah.
The first few weeks, the first, I want to say the first 3 or 4 shows, I was still learning a lot. I was really green. I was really like
Uh,
I a novice, and I had to keep observing the other actors in all of the plays and watching and borrowing from their style and learning. You learn a lot by watching others,
mm,
especially in theater. And I just, I watched their performances. I took a little bit from all of them that I wanted to portray for my roles and my character, and so I took the best of what I saw them do, and the way that they run their lines, and the way they were able to sound very conversational and
mm,
very smooth and very like hitting the mark. It's a learning experience. It's a beautiful learning experience, and I'm very grateful for all of the plays that I got to watch, for all of the actors. I saw some of the best actors that I've ever seen acting in some of these plays, and it was fascinating. It was a
mm,
real learning experience. I recommend it. I highly recommend um, supporting theater and the arts. I mean, it's amazing.
yeah, no doubt about it. Gosh, what a beautiful experience. You know,
It really
uh,
was. It really was.
yeah, definitely. Lupe, what do you do as an actress to hone your craft? I know you said, you just mentioned, yeah, you watch other actors, right?
Yeah.
What other things do you like to do to again hone your craft and to get better as an actress?
Yeah. What worked for me, definitely meditation.
Mhm,
I'm a strong believer of prayer. I did a lot of prayer because you have to have a very clear like you have to be focused, and that
mm,
bring it centers me. So prayer
mm,
is a key component of finding that focus. The other thing that I did was I downloaded an app that's called Run Your Lines, and you record your lines there and you play them for yourself over and over and over and over again. So that's really important. And I also put together a little stack of index cards that had all my lines, and I stapled them all together, and they were all different colors, and I had them in my pocket the whole time. And sometimes I would meet them. Sometimes I would be so scattered, I would forget what my first line was. But as
uh-huh,
long as I remembered my very first line, then all the other ones flowed. So I started to always like start out with the first line over and over again. And then also I carried my little stack of cards, and they were like my security blanket. And I think I will keep them for as like a little I don't know, a memento, or some kind of like a memory from this whole experience, because
mm,
they're worn out, and they're used, and they're my first lines, and it was really special. I kept them in my pocket, and at some point I didn't really need them anymore, but I felt really good about having them there for
yeah,
just in case.
yeah.
But Yeah, towards the end of the festival, it wasn't as necessary, but I still, and all of the actors, see, this is what I'm talking about. The discipline is amazing. I still saw even some of the most seasoned actors still running their lines. And that to me was, I have so much respect for them because they take their work very seriously, and they're very respectful of the work that they're portraying, and they're very respectful of the audience. So I learned that from them too. So no matter how seasoned they were, I always saw them running their lines and doing their thing and finding a centering of so that they could focus, and and just over and over, a lot of repetition. So a lot of repetition is key. But that app is it's a great app. It
Run your
really
lines.
helped. Hmm.
I got to check
Yeah,
that out. Yeah.
it's a great app. I highly recommend it.
Yeah, it's interesting, Lupe, because
Hmm.
it never stops. You never stop honing your craft. I was talking to Sonia Balcazar. I don't know if you know Sonia, and she was. Oh,
Sorry, I'm here. I just keep
no, no,
getting phone calls. It's okay. I just keep making them go. They have
yeah,
to
no,
wait.
yeah, no doubt.
Sonia
Uh,
Balcazar, you were saying?
yeah, it's just Sonia, but she was saying that she was taking acting classes, and one of her acting classes. I don't know if you know Sal Lopez. Who
Yes.
you
I
know
don't know
Sal
him
Lopez.
personally, but I know people that know him personally, very personally, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, here's a guy who's been on, I mean, major productions, right? He was in American Me, I mean, major movies, right?
Yeah.
And he's still going to acting class. I mean, wow,
Mhm.
that just tells you something, it just doesn't stop. You got to hone your craft. And that's dedication too. I mean, but that just showed me that, like, wow,
You have to have the humility to know that you don't know everything, and that there's always room to, you know, uh, get get better at your craft and polish your act, and just there's people that really do care about and really giving it their best shot, and always being out there, doing in their role respectfully, and for, like I said again, for the audience and for the writers. And there's just people that really take it very seriously, and I really admire that. As a writer, I admire the people that respect our work because they get it, they get that it's important, and they bring it to life for us, and that it's a very moving experience.
Right, absolutely. Instructor
Mhm.
G Lupe posted. I want to share this comment real quick. You keep learning, especially when you are developing different characters. I mean, that's
Mhm.
yeah. I mean, that sums it up. And it's a never, yeah, like you said, it's a never ending process, right? And but you actually got started in this whole thing, right?
Mhm.
This whole world uh, as a music. You were involved with a few music labels, right? Um,
Yes.
how did you? I mean, but you know what? You take it back even further back than that. How did
Mhm.
you even get? I mean, into that world? Talk about what inspired you, what led you there.
Well, I have a lot of family members who are musicians.
Mm,
And so music was always part of my family. I mean, it was like Sundays at grandma's house always became a concert. So music was always in my family. It was always respected, revered, and it was a normal thing. And I thought everyone in across the nation had the same kind of setup. I didn't know how fortunate I was to be surrounded by so much artistry and artists. And it was just a that was the way my family life was. So I always learned to appreciate music. And so with that, as a when I was growing up, like in elementary school in the 80s, I really fell in love with like a lot of British music, Duran Duran, Depeche Mode, The
yeah.
Cure. Anything that came from England was like a big deal for me, and so
We're talking the
I
same
had
language.
a real passion. I was that kid that would record the radio, the songs from the radio on cassettes. And so I was always doing that. And I remember listening to K Rock when I was a kid. And there was another station called KIQQ that eventually went, it went off the air. And later on, I did my research as to why they went off the air. It was a pretty scandalous situation. But I learned, I had a lot of appreciation for British music and British culture. And just, it was an era that was a lot of fun, and it was a lot of partying and growing up. And just the music business always attracted me. So I actually did want to become a sound engineer in the music industry. And I went and I toured some sound engineer schools in Hollywood. But there weren't enough women there. I mean, I never found any role models. I never found any real encouragement. And it was kind of sad. Like, I really always wanted to be part of the whole production team. I wanted to be more hands-on with it. And so I gave that up because I didn't really see much support for women like me who had a passion to really pursue that. And eventually, out of high school, I thought, I want to go and work perhaps at a music label and take music to the radio stations and like really get into that side of the world. And I didn't do it right away. I actually went to work for the airlines. I worked for the airlines for a few years, and I got to travel and really see these places in England that I always wanted to see, and travel to New York and cosmopolitan cities all over the United States where a lot of art and a lot of music was happening. Got to go to Seattle and hang out where all of the grunge bands used to play at Hard Candy or Rock Candy in Seattle. So I got to do really cool things while I was at the airlines. I even got to like follow some bands around. I would like find out what city they'd be playing in, and then I'd get a ticket and fly there. So it was fun. I got to see a lot of really cool bands and venues outside of California. And I just loved it so much. I couldn't stop thinking about it. And I just got really tired of working at the airlines. It's grueling work. I respect a lot of my friends who are still there.
Wow.
It's a lot of work, but it was not the kind of work that I really wanted to do. I wanted to be more in the entertainment side. And so I signed up to Santa Monica College, and
Hmm.
I declared my major in communications. I wanted to be like, more of like marketing, PR, promotions. And I did that. I landed internships at MTV. I did
Mm.
internships at Interscope Records, Priority Records, Virgin Records, Warner Brothers, um, a lot of really cool places, and got to meet a lot of people that are now executives in a lot of these places. Like, they really moved their way up um, in the music business.
Uh-huh.
So one of the proudest moments was at Polygram Latino. I worked there with some new Latino bands that were coming in from Mexico, who were, unknown artists here in the United States. And I got to work with a trio from Mexico, from Monterrey, called Control Machete. And I
Oh,
brought them here for the first time to the United States when they started out their career.
you brought them.
Yeah.
Wow. I remember
Yeah,
Control
they
Machete.
were
Yeah.
doing a promotional tour for us for the label, and we booked the Roxy on Sunset Boulevard for them. Or when it, they weren't even booking Latino bands. I mean, they actually thought they were just like gangsters. They were really racist over there. Like they didn't get us. They didn't get us for a long time until they saw that there was real demand for Latino talent in music. That's when they
Mm.
started booking a lot more. And plus, John Pantel had a lot of it to do, because down the street he was booking a lot of Latin bands at the House of Blues. So obviously venues have to compete with each other. So it became more of a
Mm.
possibility once that they saw that, oh, Maldita Vecindad, Los Fabulosos Cadillacs, all of
Wow.
these like amazing artists were playing up the street. So it's very lucrative. It was very lucrative, and they started to be more receptive to
Mm.
having Latino talent playing on Sunset Boulevard. But I brought them here for the first time, and that show was amazing. And it was a packed house. And after that, like, oh my gosh, they got a lot of buzz. I think at some point in the early aughts, I want to say like 2001 or 2002, their song, I don't remember if it was Comprendes Mendes, but one of their songs was in a Levi commercial that played during the Super Bowl. And that was for me
Mm.
like the proudest moment. I said, that's, what? That's what it was about. That's why we did what we did. And so it was a fun time to like it was a fun time to break new talent. And it really, there weren't that many opportunities when I started doing it. And I did it very punk rock style because I have a lot of friends that were already working in the punk rock world. And I watched them do it yourself, DIY style of promotions. And I ran it the same because I didn't have a budget. I worked with, I mean, they gave me nothing. And then when I went to
Wow.
work at Interscope and I saw what kind of budgets they were working on just for one song, I saw like Enrique Iglesias had like $500,000 in his budget just to promote one song for Interscope. And
Wow.
it blew my mind. And I'm like, this is why I wasn't going anywhere, because I had no budget. And
Mm,
maybe I had the budget, but they weren't making me aware of it. But I
yeah.
had to do a lot of my own pushing.
Wow. And so
Yeah.
are you still in the label in the music business?
Indirectly, because now with film, because now with Girls in Focus, we work with a lot of girls who are up and coming filmmakers, and they create their films every summer. In fact, my daughter is one of the students who launched the pilot program, and I'm a founder in the organization. And so our students create these films, and we had a student last year. Her name is Julie Rosales, and I got to also incorporate girls out from outside of the United States. So I have filmmakers that we brought in from Mexico, young ladies in Mexico who are filmmakers, and they, during the pandemic, the whole program was online. So all these girls were collaborating, making all these films on the internet. And it was pretty cool. It was flexible. I mean, we had our technical issues here and there, but the way it works is some of these girls have never made movies. They just know they want to be in the film industry, so we teach them everything from writing a script to editing work and finding material. And it goes from the page to the film festival. So with theater, it's from the page to the stage, and for film, it's from the page to the film festival. So when the girls are done with their films, we have a film festival for them, and that's where they debut they premiere their films. And so this film that Julie Rosales did, she really wanted to talk about a story that's it's very disturbing. And it was about her uncle who left as a child from Mexico to come to the United States, but he never made it past the border. And eventually, his remains were found here in San Diego. And so she had that story always in her mind, that it was something that she wanted to create a film about and talk about, and talk about the broken immigration system in the United States. And we
Mm,
fully supported her. And some of my favorite artists are Quetzal y Las Cafeteras and La Santa Cecilia. And I've been able to, because of my work in the music industry, talk to these fantastic artists about letting us have some of the music for our student films. And they've been amazing. And they're, Grammy nominated and Grammy award winning artists. So I go for the best.
yeah,
I
I can
ask the
tell.
best for the best, and they have been very supportive, and I'm very grateful to them for that.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's great. And I'm like, how long were you in the music business?
From 95 till about 2001.
So yeah,
Yeah,
I'm sure you developed
a lot of
a
relationships.
lot of relationships.
Well, the
Connected.
interesting thing is that with La Santa Cecilia, we have a link. So the A&R guy, the guy that signed Control Machete to Polygram Latino, is Robbie Lear, and he is now the manager of La Santa Cecilia. So when I needed that music, I really just DM'd him and I said, look, I have this project. I really need this track. It's an amazing project. And I explained to
Mm,
him what it was all about. Like within 48 hours, he had cleared the music for me. So
wow,
I'm very fortunate to know them and to have a very collaborative, a very positive working relationship with the artists and also with the professionals behind the artists. Yeah.
definitely. No, that
Mhm.
helps. That helps a lot.
It does help. It does help. And knowing the music, and which I'm still I listen to a lot of their music. So it definitely, having these special relationships with the people behind the artists is very helpful for film. Very helpful. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And
And
I'm
then
going to
so you,
continue that. Yeah. Now with Monarca Pictures, it's just going to get more and more collaborative. And yeah, and I think I'm going to go a step further now, because a lot of the artists in these bands are also independently working on they're actually creating music tailored for very special for each project and each film that they're working in. So I may there's going to be like, unique arrangements for some of the films that we're going to be producing. That's
wow.
exciting.
Yeah, no, I was gonna mention Monarca Pictures. You founded that
Mhm.
organization, that company. When did you found Monarca Pictures?
Just a few weeks ago. Just a few weeks ago. Yeah, there was an
Awesome.
event that I was sponsoring. I support a lot of film festivals, and I needed, because of the films that I'm writing and the plays that I'm writing and a lot of other music. I'm writing lyrics as well for the past 2 years with Amalia Mondragon, who was the she was the lead singer in a band who was Grammy nominated from Texas, from El Paso. Se llaman the Chamanas. So she was the lead singer in that band, and we, for the past almost 2 years now, we've been writing music. We stopped for a little bit because her mom just passed away, and
Mm,
it's been she needs some time, and we're
yeah, of
very respectful of that, and we wish her all the best, but for her healing. But
course.
she's an amazing artist. She has an amazing voice. She's very talented, very gifted songwriter. So working with her, it all just started with my poetry, really. Like, I wanted to add music to my poems, and then I thought, well, they could be songs. So let's start to formulate a
Mm,
way to actually create them into songs. It's a high form of poetry, you know,
yeah,
songwriting. And so that's where we are. And yeah, so hopefully some of these songs will eventually end up in some of the films. It'll be fun.
absolutely. I can't wait. I
Mhm.
can't wait. And
Uh,
I mean, you're doing so much, Lupe. I mean, how do you find yourself ever getting overwhelmed at all, or how do you balance everything out? What's some advice you could give to us balancing, everything that you're doing? Um, just even in general, like what are some methods you use to keep yourself organized and everything just steadily flowing?
Well, it's organized chaos. You just have to accept that, what, there's not a right or wrong way to do this. There's just, you have to know how much you can really, really juggle. I'm also a mom, and I'm also, I'm part of my son's schools. I'm the advocate for his school for enrichment. And so I have meetings that I attend for his school. And, my son is also a violinist, so he goes to music class every single day. And I do cook, and I do clean, and I do a lot of the regular things that everyone does. And you just have to find the time to balance it as best as you can. Like I said, it's more of organized chaos. And, sometimes you just have to, focus on whatever is in front of you at the time. And, I have meetings too with Girls in Focus, marketing meetings. We have a huge fundraiser coming up in May in the Hollywood Hills. And that's going to be amazing. I'm curating the art show for that. We have some amazing artists that are going to be providing us with their artwork. And so I'm curating also. That's another passion of mine. I have a huge passion for art, and eventually, hopefully one day, I will run a place kind of like the Cheech. And I really admire Cheech Marin and his work, and everything that he does for the Chicano artists. I'm really pushing for our community to be seen in the museum, world. And, we haven't been seen, and we haven't been acknowledged. And he's really stepped up, and here we are. Like, he's really pushed for us. So I'm very supportive of artists. And I'm excited about this fundraiser. It's going to be a film fundraiser for Girls in Focus. It's happening in the Hollywood Hills, and I can, send more information. It's going to be posted in our website, Girls in Focus.
Oh
So
wow,
there's going to be a lot of really cool things. There's going to be a red carpet. We're going to have music. We're going to have, it's going to be a great event. Food, drinks, a lot of networking. Yeah, so it's all in support of women in film, especially young women who are up and coming film directors, and so it's in support of the scholarships that we provide for a lot, because our organization never turns away any girl for lack of funds. So
Mm,
I am inviting everyone who really says that they are supportive of film, especially of women in film, to step up and come and support our work with young up and coming filmmakers.
wow. Well, so like just like I said, Lupe, when I say at the beginning of this, if you can't get inspired by by this interview, by hearing you, oh man, I want to post a question, Lupe, for you.
Sure.
Instructor G said, when she is writing, what is the percentage of what she pulls from personal experiences?
Mhm. Some of it is from personal experience. Some of my experiences, some of the things that I've written about have been prophetic. I don't know how this all works, but
Mm,
I wrote the first film that I wrote. It's called La Caída, and I wrote it with some Mexican filmmakers. And I wrote it's about a family, from at the start of the pandemic, that falls apart, and many things that happened to that family have actually happened to my family, and it's a really the pandemic had a lot of impact on my family, and I lost all of my grandparents to COVID. I had a family member also who committed suicide. I mean, we had a lot of very tragic losses. And so there is a lot of what is coming that I've written that is also my healing. It's for my healing, for the things that I've lived. Um, Not all of it. I don't know. I want to say maybe 40%, 30% of what I write might be. Some of it is just other experiences and other stories that I come up with,
mhm,
but there's definitely, some glimpses into my life, because, at this point, this is what I've lived, and it's my American experience. I'm a Chicana. I'm, my Mexican family, and my children, and other people's children, and all of the things we've lived through. So yeah, inevitably, yeah, we're writing up quite a bit about our own human experience, and a lot of trauma, and a lot of the things that we want to express and tell the world that we've lived through. Yeah.
wow. Yeah, that's I mean, I'm sorry, but
Yeah.
family members but you know, it's yeah, yeah. I mean, it goes without saying that we have stories, unfortunately, and like that. But um, you know, again, Lupe, I can't emphasize enough. I mean, what you're doing, and kudos to you,
Thank
uh,
you.
because yeah, I know you're a parent, and,
Hmm.
and that in and of itself is a full time job. I have
It is.
kids, and
Hmm.
it's amazing. It's amazing. What do you plan on writing any action stuff in the future?
I don't know. I mean, it's possible, because suddenly my son says, Mom, so you've written a play that was inspired by my sister. Will you write a play for me now? So I would take him to the theater with me, and boys have interests that are different sometimes from what the girls like to watch and see. But perhaps, I mean, I don't know, maybe. Right now, I am writing a movie for my daughter, for her
Oh,
and for other actresses. And so that one's a lot of fun. That one is about, just to, what the young 20 somethings are going through right now, and all the challenges that they're facing, and especially young independent women who are trying to make it in the world and working really hard. And there's just a lot of challenges that they're also facing, that I don't see it. I don't see anyone else writing about it. And so I thought, why not? I mean, this can employ a lot of people. This can employ a lot of women who don't see themselves in Hollywood, because they're not giving us, enough representation. I mean, regardless of what they're saying, it's just not, we're not there yet. So
mm,
whenever we can write for ourselves, we should do it.
exactly.
Mhm.
And you're a pioneer. You're doing it. I mean,
Si se
gosh,
puede, yeah, we can do it.
I love that. It reminds me of that saying. Hey, if there's no, if there's no room for you at the table, build your own table, right? And that makes so
Mm-hmm.
much sense, man. That makes so much sense, and that's kind of where I'm at right now. It's like, yeah, I'll build my own table. I don't have a problem with that. Why not?
Mm-hmm.
It's again, you're a prime example of that, and um,
But I
I
think
want
the important part is too, even though we are going through a creative process, I think that we also can't just over focus on our projects because there's so many artists that also need the help. That's why I don't only I'm not just writing plays and movies and just focusing on me. I know that there are artists and my children are artists too. So
to,
I want to be able to provide a platform for up and coming artists to, to grow and to feel like they're seen and that there's a place for them to have their artistic endeavors developed. I think it's important. I mean, I love what Johnny Murillo's doing with Chicano Hollywood because, and
mm,
I'm very supportive of that. I mean, because it's for him, it's a whole family affair. Like his wife is in on it. I mean, Bethany, his daughter's in on it. I
yeah,
mean, everyone. I mean, it's such a family oriented project, Chicano Hollywood, and I'm also writing a film with Chicano Hollywood. So
yeah,
I'm very committed to these stories that need to be told. I mean, I wish there were more writers. I encourage a lot of our community, of Latinos and Chicanos to really polish up their writing skills and get to writing because we need more stories. There's not enough content for the demand. So there's
mm,
more demand, there is content. And the more and the better and the more that we can do, the better it gets. And the more that the if we do it often, you will have more, you will polish up and you will create things that are high quality, so we need to do it more and more and more. Yeah, so
yeah.
yeah, there's a lot of opportunity, and so we should pursue that.
I was about to say, with great demand, yeah, there's comes great opportunity. Yeah,
Yes.
so
Hmm.
no doubt, and we have. I mean, gosh, we can go in our culture, right?
Yeah.
There's so
We
many
have beautiful stories that
aspects.
are untold, and it's not just trauma. There's a lot of beautiful stories that a lot of people don't know about. The day to day, everything that happens to us every single day is worthy of being talked about, worthy of being discussed. You don't know who you can help when you share your story. You don't know who might be going through the same thing, who needs to hear it. Sometimes you're finding your healing, but you're also able to heal others through the stories that you can share. It's a real possibility in
Right.
storytelling and filmmaking and playwright,
Mm,
writing the plays. So it's it's an amazing experience I don't take it for granted. I am very appreciative of this opportunity. I want to keep doing it for forever if I can. I mean,
of
this is
course.
where I have really found what I want to do with the rest of my life. Like, this is it right here.
Mm, that's great, Lupe. Yeah, good for you. And it's great. I can hear the passion in your voice and the energy, and yeah, there's no doubt about you're going to continue to progress and elevate, ascend. So, wait, let me ask you this: when you hear the word artist, Lupe,
Uh-huh.
when you hear the word artist, what comes to your mind?
Um, Person who is probably creating work that comes from, I mean, their heart, hopefully, from their, their their need to express themselves and create. Some people have this like urgent need to constantly be creating. I feel that way. I feel like if I'm not writing, I'm painting, I'm taking pictures, I'm editing, all kinds of stuff on paper. um I can't wait to get behind the camera. I also plan on doing that. I would love to handle an Ari or a Red. I mean, that's also another thing. Eventually, I do want to have skills of director of photography. I can direct. I can. So that I'll do. And there, there's just always something to do. And I am an interdisciplinary artist. I
Mhm.
I travel across different branches of the art world, and I love it. I love that it can all be it all intermingles, and you can find ways to, if you go to a gallery and you see artwork, you're learning light, you're learning composition, you're learning colors, you're learning, there's all of those things are also in film. So when I go to galleries, it's just, I love to see the way the painters see the light. What they see is also something that can be translated to film, and also
Yeah.
to stage, design, for theater. I mean, there's the artist who's one of my favorite artists, Gronk is a painter, and his work has been, it's been produced in theater, like, and
Mhm.
one of the paintings that actually um is very inspirational to me is La Tormenta, which is the painting of the woman with her arm. She's dressed kind of like Audrey Hepburn in Breakfast at Tiffany's. She's
Mhm.
wearing that black dress that's cut low in the back, and she's got the big bun, and she looks like she's going to the opera or theater or whatever, and she's got her hands where she's holding the curtains like she's about to hit the stage. But I hear that's not she's not an actress. She's a woman who can sense that there's a storm on the way, that there is going to be a time of trial and tribulation. So, I get into her head, and she inspires me to write poetry. And I've done a series of poems about that painting, and ideas bounce off of so many different parts of the art world, and I love that. I love the collaboration, the possibility, the inspiration. I love all of those things. I'm going to be going to Fashion Week this week with my daughter. We were invited to that, and I'm excited to see that also, and take pictures, and see what's coming out for LA Fashion Week. So that's going to be fun.
Oh wow, yeah, definitely, definitely. That's yeah. No, you summed it up. I mean, what a beautiful way to put it. La Tormenta, that painting.
Hmm.
Who painted that? What's I'm sorry,
Gronk.
Gronk.
Gronk. He's a painter. He's part of a group of artists from Los Angeles, Chicano artists. They're called Asco. It's
Yeah.
Harry Gamboa and Patsy Valdez and Gronk and Willie Heron. So there's a film that's going to be coming out by Diego Luna and Gael Garcia Bernal, and it is about that group, that collective of artists called Asco, and that's going to be, I highly recommend it. That's going to be an amazing film. Yeah, about
Yes.
our Chicano artists. Yeah.
Wow. Absolutely, man. Yeah, no, I've heard of those guys before. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
and there's also Los Four with Carlos Almaraz and Magoo and Romero. I mean, there's just so many, and it was a great. I mean, they have their work collectively. Some of it is at the Cheech. Some of it is there. You can go see it, and some of them, most of them are still alive. You can still run into them at galleries, believe it or not.
mm,
So yeah.
yeah. Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. I wanted to ask you too about your experience doing the interview with Alfonso Arau, who directed. He's a Mexican director, for those who don't
Hmm.
know, and he directed like Water for Chocolate, right? Which is his
Yeah.
wife wrote, I believe, right? Oh, she wrote the book, and then he
Hmm.
adapted the book into a movie.
Hmm.
How did you get that opportunity, and talk about that experience with Alfonso Arau?
Oh, well, I've met the Arau family because of the music business. I'm actually friends with his son Sergio and his wife Yareli. Yareli's in the movie like Water for Chocolate. She's actually the person in the film who's the sister, the problem sister. And so uh so anyways, my son's in the room. So Yareli and Sergio are friends of mine, and I also met I also met Tihui, who is the she's the granddaughter of Alfonso, and she's also a woman in film. She works out of Mexico City, and so I invited her to learn about Girls in Focus, and hopefully, you know, come and maybe, I don't know, do like a workshop. We work a lot with a lot of people in film, and I also mentioned to her that it would be nice. if they could participate with us on some level. And that was a year before I even did the interview. Like that was it was kind of a quick conversation. And then around November of 2021, when we were thinking of having a fundraiser for Girls in Focus, on an
Mm-hmm.
online fundraiser. It just dawned on me. I said, I am going to circle back with Tihui, who is his granddaughter, and I will pitch the idea of perhaps we should screen like Water for Chocolate. And she went a step further and she said, oh yeah, and I can have him come and do a Q&A for us. And it just started to get better and better and better. And he literally called in and did the whole thing and was like super generous with his time and talked to us about all of these things that a lot of people don't know about that happened in the making of like Water for Chocolate, you know, how they went over budget, you know, how things were just really crazy on the set, and you know that he wrote that he made that movie because his ex-wife, Laura Esquivel, that she actually went to a she went to like an empath or kind of like a fortune teller kind of thing, and they told her, you know what, you're going to make this one movie, it's going to be very magical and it's going to be very successful and it's going to be, you know, amazing. And prior to that, and they don't, and Sergio didn't, I mean, Alfonso Arau didn't share this with us. Actually, Sergio shared it with me when I ran into him at a film festival a few months ago. He said, it's so funny that Laura would even think that she could be involved in this, you know, in this crazy world of filmmaking, because prior to that, she was just writing children's stories. She was not really
Wow.
like deep into, but see, that's what I'm saying. When you want to do it, you can do it. You just have to set your mind to it. And so she said, you know what, I'm going to write this script. It's going to be, and Sergio said that he actually was the first person that she ever gave the script to, and he actually read it before anyone else. So all these tidbits, I love all of
Yeah.
these, you know, they're so memorable. I mean, especially because Alfonso was so generous with his time, and he's 90 something years old. But he's never lost his enthusiasm for the filmmaking, and he's always talking about working on other projects. He's always talking about what's next, and he doesn't see age is just a number to him. It doesn't really matter. In fact, we were just talking about Blanca Soto having done the voice of the MC in Coco. Alfonso Arau also did a voiceover in that film. I don't remember what character he did, but his voice is also there. There's so many people that actually contributed to Coco the movie. Yeah, it's a
Unreal.
beautiful collaboration of artists. It really is.
Hmm. Gosh,
Yeah.
what a this type of like. Gosh, I'm just like, oh, I'm
Yeah, no, well, this is it.
okay.
You know, these stories of human interest
It's
are
amazing.
just amazing. Yeah. So
Yeah.
they're very memorable, and that's what I love about the storytelling and about being in film, that you're, you know, you're able to bring those stories to the audiences, and hopefully something sticks, you know, stays with them from what you've written, from what you've collaborated in. And so we do it with a lot of love and a lot of dedication and a lot of respect for the craft and for the audience. So it's a
Yeah.
beautiful thing. I feel very fortunate to be able to do this type of work. I feel very fortunate.
I can't blame. Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. It really is.
Mm.
It's so for me. It's just. I mean, I could talk about this stuff all day.
Yeah.
It's such a beautiful.
I
Yeah.
can too. I kind of get on people's nerves because it's like that's all I want to talk about. I just want to talk about film. Let's talk about film.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness, Lupe. No, but you know what, Lupe? Again, I appreciate you and for being an inspiration. And as we wind things down tonight, I want to ask you, uh, what what are you most proud of at this point in your career? Everything you've
My
done, everything
children.
you're doing.
My
What's that?
children are my greatest production. My children. My
Hmm.
children inspire me. My children keep me relevant. My children keep me, you know, they give me motivation. They're everything to me, and everything that I do in this business, and it's all for them. And the film company that I started, it'll be theirs. It's all for them, all of it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
How many
If there's a
children do you have?
driver, that's my kids, both of my kids.
You have
Yeah.
two.
2. I have a daughter who's 21 and I have a son who's 8. And my daughter is also a filmmaker, and she's very good at what she does. She's a great, she's just a
Wow.
brilliant girl. And we just shot a commercial for Burke Williams, the spa. And the day that I got the call from the director and saying, do I want to be in this really cool promo for Burke Williams, I said yeah. And he says, it's for Mother's Day, it's going to be really fun. I go, oh hey, I have a daughter, and she's very beautiful and she might do well. And so I sent him the picture. Like within 5 minutes he was like, okay, yeah, let's do this. And so
Wow.
she's got a lot of potential, and I hope that she also does great things, and I'm sure she will. Yeah.
Does she have an Instagram?
Yeah, I think it's called Saint Madeline.
Saint Madeline. Okay.
Yeah, Saint
Yeah.
Madeline. I have a picture of her. She's been featured in South Bay Magazine as the 20 under 20 to watch. She,
Oh,
as a filmmaker and an artist and a dancer, she was chosen by the magazine South Bay, um, to represent her generation of, at the time that was the issue that came out right around the pandemic. So it was the 20 under 20, and she's only 21, so it wasn't that long ago.
yeah.
And so yeah, so hopefully so hopefully she'll she's gonna have a lot more projects, I mean, in the works. If not, we'll just keep writing some movies for her.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait to see that, and good for her.
Hmm.
You have a 21-year-old daughter. I have a 21-year-old son. Uh,
Hmm.
yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy.
He an actor too? We might have to recruit him.
I know. Yeah, but you know what? He's not. But he's dead. He actually came on the pod. We did a podcast episode together.
Mhm.
We did an interview. He's done actually a little modeling work, but yeah, you never know. You won't never know. But yeah, Lupe, it's incredible what you're doing, and I want to just I want to ask one more question for Instructor G. He said, going back to writing, he said he's a writer himself, and
Mhm.
but he finds himself holding back on regarding the realism of his characters. Um, but I find myself holding back. Any advice on how to break through the barrier as a writer?
Um, just to keep doing it. I think what has helped me is allowing another set of eyes to kind of, for example, my screenwriting coach often would read, he would poke holes in the script, and that's very helpful, so that you can, like, if something's not clear or something doesn't make sense, or a character is just not moving, the character's not doing much for the story, you need an extra set of eyes. Sometimes you get so consumed by the story because you wrote it, but you think it's going one way and it's really not going that way. So you have to be very receptive to criticism. Constructive criticism is key to polishing up your script. And I was
Mm.
really sensitive at first, and it is a thing that I had to overcome. I'm still not very comfortable with showing it to a lot of people. I show it to certain people that I can trust, but I'm very sensitive about my written work. I'm And so you have to find
Mm.
someone you trust, and someone that has some of this experience reading scripts, so that they can give you the feedback that you need to make your script better, and to always be humble enough and receptive enough to really, like, understand that it's for the good of your story, to have someone poke holes in it, and ask those questions, and maybe you'll rewrite something, or you'll just straight delete it. With Échale Ganas, Mija, I wrote that play. I think I went way over. It was like a 20-minute play, like, and these festivals are 10-minute festivals. So um, it it got chopped several times. But by this
Mm.
time, I already had it in my mind that I couldn't take that personal. It's part of the business. It's part of what you do. You have to detach yourself. You can't I have to stop taking these things so personal. I have to see the work and like just know that it's probably not going to look. I've already talked to a lot of people. A lot of these stories don't end up on screen looking like the way that you thought they were going to look. So you have to be comfortable with change and never take it personal. Just get, just edit. A lot of editing. Yeah, be
Wow.
comfortable with editing, be comfortable with criticism. It's not personal, it's just business. It really just is. It's part of what how this, it's a necessary evil in this type of work. It's not personal. You just can't, you have to detach yourself. So I would say yeah, with realism, you just have to keep writing it, and you have to keep just figure it out. Like you have to, it's all, you'll figure it out with as the more you do it.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. You get, like you said, repetition, practice, and honing the craft, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I know where I'm going now for advice on in this business. I'll pay you a consultation fee, Lupe. Okay?
uh I don't know everything, but I know a few things. But if I don't know the answer, I can point you to the right direction. So I mean, there's hope. There's hope.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, Lupe. I want to thank you so much once again for
You.
educating us and for being here and chatting and sharing your experiences and your world. Before we wrap things up, Lupe, where can we find you? Where can we connect with you? Where can we find your work?
Okay, so if you want to see some of the films that we've created with Girls in Focus, you can find them actually on our website, girlsinfocus.com. And as far as my written work, I have written work with Ediciones Aguamiel. So we won the International Latino Book Award, honorable mention for that book. The book is called Inficciones, and it's a short narratives of, it's 10 authors. So those stories are there, and mine's is the only one that is, I have two stories and a poem in that book. And so that's in ficciones. And I've also written poems for Los Angeles Poet Society. I've been published, the late, and I have pictures published in their book Acid Verse 2. So there's that. As far as I have films in the work right now. There's a documentary I'm going to be shooting in Boyle Heights very soon. We have a film crew ready to go, and that's going to be under Monarca Pictures. That's going to be my very first documentary produced at Monarca Pictures, and that's going to be exciting.
Nice.
I, it's about the art world, and it's gonna be great. I'll keep you posted with that. Um, yeah, so as far as my Instagram, you could find me at Futuroscope USA. I also have one for mostly for visual art. It's called One Artist Lab. And then there's Pictures Monarca, which is for film. And on Facebook, it's my name, Lupe Montiel.
Hmm. Wow. There it is. There it is. Lupe, yeah, I want to collaborate with you somehow, some way again. And you
Right?
know,
Yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, there you have Lupe Montiel. Again, if you're not salivating right now by with inspiration, I don't know what's wrong with you. Okay. So I know I am. I know I am. So I want to thank everyone for tuning in. Echo, Gio, my friend Joe was here, Shazzy Teddy, Alexis Rodriguez, Blanca was here.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for tuning in.
There it is. There it is. Again, Lupe, thank you so much. You are an inspiration. You are a pioneer. You are a leader, an example. You're setting the example for our community and beyond. And again, I can't wait to. I'm glad I met you. I'm glad I'm.
Thank you.
Absolutely. I'll support you and any way I can. And
Thank you.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So thank you once again, and I want to thank everybody. And if you enjoyed the interview, one way you can show that appreciation is go ahead and subscribe to the profile pod there. Click on that little red, purple icon at the bottom right hand corner of your screen. Hit subscribe, and you're all good. I want to follow me on Instagram. Um, Let's connect on social media, Facebook, Twitter, or all of them. Everything. The only one I'm not on is TikTok. So go follow Lupe. Go check out her work. Go connect with Lupe. Go show her love, support, and you will not be disappointed. So for Lupe Montiel, I'm your host, Double A, here for the evening. The Profile Pod. We will see you next time right here. And we got another woman coming next week for National Women's History Month. So stay tuned for that. Hey, Shazzy, I see you out there. Lupe, once again, thank you so much. Have a great evening. We'll see you guys. Okay.
Have a great good night. Thank
Good
you.
night, everybody. And always remember to take it easy. Peace.
Bye.